Hello and welcome to the Two Robbies Podcast, your destination for in-depth discussion and analysis of the Premier League. I'm Robbie Mustoe, he's Robbie Earle, and here are today's topics. Arsenal extend their lead to 7 points at the top of the table with a 1-0 win over Brighton as Manchester City slip against Nottingham Forest. Spurs suffer an embarrassing 3-1 defeat at home to Crystal Palace that puts the Big Six club in real relegation trouble. And the race for the top four tightens after a João Pedro hat-trick powers Chelsea past Aston Villa, while Manchester United and Liverpool suffer shock defeats. That's what we have coming up in today's episode.
All right, my friend, we've had a real dramatic midweek of Premier League games. I think if it's one thing we've learned, Rob, it's to expect anything from the Premier League, whether it's top or bottom. I think we have to start with the title race. The two teams vying for that, Arsenal and Manchester City, both playing on the same day. Let's start at Brighton. Arsenal got the win, courtesy of a Saka-deflected shot that goes in. It was a 1-0 win. It was a clean sheet. Before the game, there was a lot of talk about Arsenal and set pieces and corner kicks and playing ugly. It then taken on another life with Arsenal kind of maybe people saying stretching the rules, slowing the game down.
Fabian Hurtzler, didn't it?
Fabian Hurtzler,
quite the interview, that.
Has really gone for Michael Arteta and his team and basically said, I couldn't coach football like that. That isn't the way I'd want to do it.
I mean, I don't think we've ever heard... Have we ever heard a manager so strong on another manager's kind of...
I can't remember, Rob, in the Premier League
the way he'd go about going a job. Yeah. So that was like, wow. But then, of course...
Just on that, that's slightly disrespectful from a young coach coming in the league who's been here a couple of years.
You sort of like hope to he'd make the point in a bit more respectful way, but it was kind of nasty. Yeah. It was kind of nasty and meaningful and saying, I wouldn't do this and the league's got to do something about it. But of course, then that gets people talking about it. And it gets the journalists and everybody else revved up and the conversation goes around Arsenal and how they're trying to do it. Now, there's a 1-0 victory. I mean, I think in terms of how they won this game, Rob, like I think we know that they're really, really good defensively, right? And they can certainly, and they have leaned into that and used it to get results. But just given the quality they've got in the squad and the team, should Arsenal fans be concerned that by doing this, going ahead and sitting back and being very passive, should they be confident the defence is good enough, or should they think, well, actually, it's only going to take a deflected shot or a set piece and we'll drop points, lose points? The winning games narrowly, not always, of course, there's been some good victories, but is it risky to be like this?
It's a really interesting point, and where I'll answer first is it could be risky when we didn't see till today, a Martinelli challenge on a Brighton player. There could have been a penalty kick. There could have been...
And it might have changed the way Arsenal play as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So, of course, it's risky. I think when you look through that Arsenal squad and you see Rice and Zubimendi and Odegaard and Saka, you expect and feel that they can do it in a more pleasing, more aesthetic way.
More dominant.
Yeah, more football dominant maybe. But what I would say, Rob, is if that isn't working, what I've sensed with this Arsenal team is we're going to find another way. And that, as you say, buys into the defence. I think it buys into game management. I think it buys into being street smart. I think for 22 years they've waited for a title. Yeah. And at this opportunity, the answer to your question will be if they raise the trophy... in the middle of May,
who cares?
It's the right way. They've done it the right way. If they don't, questions will be asked, and Mikel Arteta will be under the spotlight because he will have had a 7-point gap as they've got now, has had this squad that he kind of wanted, and hasn't been able to land the trophy.
So it's not like anything. It's just the proof's going to be in the pudding.
Yeah.
At the end of it all, did he win it? Did he not win it?
Yeah.
If he didn't win it, then there might be some. Well, you could have gone for a little bit more. No, and then the big part of this of what Fabian Hurtzler was talking about, Rob. We should talk about it. Is a time wasting.
Yeah.
And the dark arts and players going down when they're not really injured. He talked about goalkeeper David Raya going down three times.
Yeah.
And of course, when goalkeepers go down and get treatment,
the game stops.
And the players can go over to get words from the coach. But then the goalkeeper doesn't go out the game.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an ideal situation to have a breather, take the sting out of the game. The goalie, there's time allowed for him to recover and get back in the goal.
Wasn't it Southampton who started this? Remember Danny Higginbottom picked it up, I think, a couple of years ago where he said, I think it was Southampton in the league, and they'd have like an injury after 20 minutes. Somebody go down, and they'd all go and speak to. And it's kind of grown from that. And
we showed some clips today on the air, Rob, about throw-ins taking their time. Declan Rice on a set piece, taking his time,
corners. And
again, you might question whether they need him to be playing this tactics is one question, which we've kind of talked about. And the second part is it okay? I mean, I would say the referee has the power to speed things up, and to add on the time. So
and give yellow cards to people.
So the time should be added on, and I think maybe there can be yellow cards chucked in as well. So it is something that we've always seen, Rob.
Yeah.
Is it anything to beat Arsenal with right now that people are trying to do that?
I just feel that however Arsenal go, there's going to be criticism. And what I would say is, if I'm Mikel Arteta and he's a smart guy, I'd be using all this. I'd be playing that Earle interview. I'd be showing him the paper and say, people don't want us to win this. And Jose Mourinho was the master at the siege mentality. Look at them. They don't want us to do this. We can go and prove them wrong.
Have you got any sense of why there does seem to be a swell of people around the game that are waiting for Arsenal to slip up so they can... I told you so type of they're not ready or he's not the right guy or whatever reason it is.
Well, when you haven't won one for so long and the drive and desire to do it, I think that plays its part. I think Mikel Arteta is a kind of manager who rubs up opponent fans in a different way when he's on the touchline. Sometimes we saw him being a bit more active in the technical area and being a bit animated and things. And in fairness to him, in fairness, I think he's addressed that quite well. And I thought he handled this situation with Earle particularly well. He could have inflamed that situation. He just said, well, I'll expect that from him. And there's definitely something going on between those two. But I just feel like there's an experience in Arteta now who's, I think you said last week, and Lee Dixon said, like, there's a time now the manager's going to be under real spotlight about how he behaves. I think Mikel Arteta's done pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, it's whichever way they're doing it, they're looking really strong right now. Anybody you want to pick out? Piero Hincapié, the left fullback I talked about. Yeah. Like, he's made the place his own. That's not easy to do when you've got Miles Lewis-Skelly and you've got Riccardo Calafiori. Particularly Calafiori has looked really, really good. Calafiori's got to be pleased with the place on the bench. So I think Arteta, give him credit. If somebody's doing the business in the team, he keeps them in the side.
He does keep them
He's physical, Hincapié. Done an excellent job of coming into a team and looking very comfortable playing at left back. Of course, he can play centre back as well.
I think Julian Timber's one of them as well, Rob.
Oh,
he's just an incredible
all-rounder.
Every week. You know what you get. He's a good footballer.
Physical.
Scores a couple of important goals when he needs ones. Good defender. Is reliable. You know, we see this from Dutch football, don't we? People come and they've just been brought up really well in any system they play. So I thought it was more of a team thing. I thought they got there. There's a little bit of, I would say, sloppiness stroke, like individual errors, Rob, that just seeps into Arsenal a bit. Declan Rice has been one. A few centre-backs now and then are making the odd dream. Raya made a little one. I don't know if that's because of the pressure, but the nerves and the anticipation of what's coming. That's just something they've got to be aware of and tighten up, because it'd be so sad now if something like that is going to stop them getting the try.
Just last question for you before we move on to Man City. Should Arsenal fans hope and expect that every game is not going to be like that one? Like there's going to be a little bit more control with the ball, possession control.
I think what was it, 8 games now left. I sort of wrote down a note to myself thinking, if Arsenal play kind of good football in 50% of them, you know, the North London derby style, or where they're dominating, and then there's 2 or 3 that are a little bit the other way, and one maybe is a 2-0 win. I think that's them getting over the line and doing it in the way. I don't think that the football's going to see them all the way through. I think they need something else, and it looks to me like they're quite comfortable and reliant on what they do. Let's go to the Etihad, my friend, where, you know, some pressure on Manchester City to keep matching Arsenal. City end up dropping points, Robin, and I felt this was a little bit almost like a return to a bit early in the season where there's a little bit of carelessness, weren't quite as defensively strong. Got played around in midfield a couple of times. Phil Foden back in the team. I thought he was really at fault for the Elliot Anderson strike. was a big. It was a big 2 points for Man City to drop.
I mean, yeah. You again, other side of the coin here. They're so good going forward, and they got so much, but their Achilles' heel is defensively, and I think we've agreed that they've been better with the signing of Gueye and Diaz being back and Rodri being back to almost his best. But defensively, they're going to give you a chance. All that being said, I mean, the 2 goals from Nottingham Forest, Rob, they're pretty blimmin' good goals. And I know that City aren't brilliant defensively, but I mean, the really clever back heel it was from Morgan Gibbs-White. When he's facing away from the goal and manages to score, and Big Donnarumma can't quite move his legs or get it down quick enough. And the Elliot Anderson strike is a brilliant strike. So, of course, you know, that can happen, but they were pretty outstanding goals to hurt Manchester City.
Yeah.
City almost got one at the end, didn't they, towards the end there?
Yeah, they had a bit of
But that's a blow. That's a blow. And Pep's demeanour afterwards, Rob, very kind of, I don't know, like after last week, we talked about it. Like, he's fired up. He was jumping on the sideline. They believe they're in the race now. They can see a weakness in Arsenal. They look like they're... And then all of a sudden, they have this. They drop points, and Pep looks so down afterwards. And so, like, well, you know, one of those things. It's not over yet, and I don't know.
And they had players coming back, didn't they? They looked like it's starting to come together, and then all of a sudden...
Semenyo. How good's Semenyo?
Yeah, he's been plug and play. I mean, perfect plug and play. And let's give a bit of credit to Nottingham Forest as well. It's not just about Man City. As you say, two really good goals. Pereira set them up well. He's yet to win in the Premier League, but that almost like a win to go to Manchester City, be down twice and to get a draw. So it was a really important point, Rob, when we talk about those at the bottom of the table, which is where I'm going to move to, my friend.
Just before we do that, where are we with the title race then? Give me percentages. Let's get some percentages here. Arsenal, 7 points clear now.
Yeah.
They've played one more game.
Now,
they've got to go to Manchester City.
Hands. Yeah, but they can afford to even go to City and lose.
As long as they're 2 bad results leeway.
Yeah.
Are we talking 80% chance of winning the title?
I'm around 80 now. Listen, in this league, Arsenal have one bad weekend, Man City have a good result, and all of a sudden it times up. But right now, I'm at 80%.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I think we're on that as well. Okay, where are we going? Bottom of the league?
I'm going to the bottom of the table.
Boy.
I'm going to the biggest game of the midweek. And there was big games all over, mate. The biggest game, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
It ended up being after the results of the
but
Tuesday
even
Wednesday.
Before the ball was kicked, I'm looking at that game, Rob, going, Tottenham Hotspur, no wins in the last 10, 1 win at home in 13. Igor Tudor's come in, 2 defeats in his first 2 games, hasn't looked great, kind of messed around with systems and players and not quite sure. Okay, you're at home, you're playing Crystal Palace, you got to win. You got to win and stop the noise and stop the negativity.
Did you believe that they could win that?
I never felt...
When we saw the lineups...
Yeah.
I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, okay, it looks like they're going to do the same system as Crystal Palace. Yeah. Okay, so let's compare them. And I looked at Munoz and Mitchell as opposed to Sousa and Gray. I look at Papsar and Palhinha, and I like kind of Adam Wharton and Kamel. Look at the front three, Sam Larson, Sarr, Gusan. I mean, goalkeeper. Yeah. I'm like, this is a better team. And it showed it.
What I would say, Robin, and I know you have an idea that if you could pick another Spurs team with the players available who would be better, and I absolutely don't disagree in that. But what I would say is, when I was doing a little bit of work last night on the game, I'm looking at Crystal Palace, and I'm thinking, understand their system better, know how to play better. I think they'll beat Spurs, however Spurs play. Because I just don't feel like, I don't quite know. I did a little breakdown on Spurs, so I watched a lot of the Fulham game. They were all over the place, mate. All over the place.
Yeah, I know.
People all, right wing Gallagher, left side Xavi Simons, left back Archie Gray. I didn't really, so I'm looking at the game going, I can't see how Spurs win this game.
The 3 games that he's been in charge for now, I don't like any of the lineups.
Conceded 9 goals.
I don't like any of the performances. Yeah. I don't like anything that I'm hearing from the training ground.
No.
I don't like anything I'm seeing with him interacting with his players.
Which is a good point. To that point then, based on what you say,
well, this is the question.
What would be the reason to keep him, based on what you've just said?
Well, Johan Lang, the sporting director that hired him along with the board, it's super embarrassing for them if they say, I'm sorry, like, this is emergency, like, it hasn't worked for 3 games, it looks really awful, like worse.
Yeah,
it looks worse.
Yeah.
So that's a decision, Robbie Earle, isn't it? That's a decision right now.
But I don't think it's a big decision. Where you say embarrassment, and maybe it's not a big decision to me.
What do you mean big decision? Or tough decision?
It's the right decision. If it's the right decision...
What, to get rid?
If I feel it's the right decision, I do it. I get rid tonight. He's not in charge. I saw things, and I said it day one, and I'm not being wise after the event. The connection between the manager and the players is not there. And I've been in that situation and know it, and I see it and I feel it. And you can tell from body language, you can tell from when somebody's talking to you and you're not really looking at them, or you look at them and you're looking away. I can tell you there's people in that dressing room who don't fancy him, who are a bit like, who is this guy coming in, barking orders at us and telling us this and that.
I get it after the Arsenal game. They got well beaten. That's a difficult match for them. And then you look at the next two, Rob, and like Fulham and Palace. Okay, because it gets harder. All right, we've got to see it now. We've got to see what he can bring, a manager bump. But there's been nothing, and it is recoverable because there's 9 games left.
9 games, 27 points.
I mean, and listen, first off, let me tell you the team that could have been picked today. Right back, Porro. Danzo, Van der Ven, Gray. Left back, there's not many options, Rob. Like
the other kid, didn't he? Today,
I think I'm still probably going on Gray than Sousa. I've got it's 4-3-3 by the way. Palhinha, I want him in my team.
Correct.
To his right, Conor Gallagher. If there's one thing Conor Gallagher is, he's a worker. He's kind of reliable.
Doesn't he?
He'll give you a bit of box to box. He'll be there defensively. Perhaps Sarr I'd have in there, who can work a little bit. That's a decent midfield 3. And my front 3, Richarlison's the top scorer.
We don't. It could be, I don't know, some kind of injury. He can't play 9 minutes. We don't know that. But based on what we...
By the way, we're almost at a point now where I don't care if there's a risk. This is everything. This is everything.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Richarlison will be on the left-hand side. Comfortable goal scorer, top goal scorer at the football club. Dominic Solanke scored today. Of course, he'd be centre forward. And Xavi Simons I'd have. That's a 4-3-3. Now, you get some enthusiasm behind that, right? And you get some energy, and you get on the front foot. And I know often the times the way is to grind away to get... I feel like that team can win games. And is there a case for switching the manager and bringing in Tim Sherwood, who's done it, been there before? I listened to him on the TV the other day or on the radio. He's passionate about what he feels is going on. He's not enjoying what's happening now with the new gaffer there. Would he pick a more likely team and give them the fans something to get excited about, Rob? Or are they going to stick with...
He'd be half of my choice. I'd bring in Harry Redknapp as well.
Would you?
I think,
proper blast from the past.
I think Harry Redknapp would keep the media... He's a media darling. They love him in England. He knows all the journalists. He'll get them on side. He knows how to he knows his football. He knows a player. He'll look in the dressing room, mate, and he'll pick out the people who aren't really with you. And Tim. I think Tim's a bit younger, can get on the training ground, can do the work, and he proved last time he's a good coach. He knows football. He's a good football man. So I'm with you, and I think a change lightens the mood around the football club, brings some energy, brings hope and energy, which is what they're missing now. And I don't see it with this guy at all. And I don't say that with any pleasure, that a guy who's come to English football and has got a decent record, Croatian international, been a good player, that gives me no pleasure. I just feel Spurs' situation, they have to act, Rob, because if they don't, this is going to get worse.
He looks like he's figuring out things. He's trying to figure out things. And he's making teams and stuff like. I'm like, wow. No, I know they've had problems, but you've got to play him. So we'll see on that. The last thing before we get to Palace, we've got to give Palace some love. The only thing that worries me, I said it on the show, Rob, is that a lot of those players are kind of biggish names. Does it worry you that you might have a situation where they're like, well, you know what, I'm going to go. My agent said there's interest in different clubs.
The Leicester City type thing.
Yeah, some of the players that like, if
I'm
we go,
I'm not
I don't have to run my socks off to stay in the league because I'm probably going to get a move. Is that something that's real for them?
Yeah, it's 100% real, mate. In the dressing room, if that becomes collective, every time I see a Spurs player now, they've been linked to another club. Van der Ven was linked to Real Madrid, and Romero's linked to this one. And these are your players who are in a fight. It's like, well, I'm World Cup winners and top class players, but they're not playing like that, Rob. And there's a lack of accountability. And today, Van der Ven, who I've been disappointed in the last few weeks, and I think he's a world-class centre-back with great pace and in the right team and the right setup when he's focused. But I think he's been loose. And I think he's loose today when he gives the foul on Saw that completely changes the game.
Yeah. I mean, the club has got a decision to make. Johan Lang, the sporting director, I'm sorry, but he's got a lot to answer for.
Yeah,
if they end a lot, because he's made all the recruitment decisions. Crystal Palace, just quickly pick out. Yeah. I mean, by the way, excellent today. I've got to pick out first of all Ismaila Sarr. I mean, it's an obvious one, but his energy and his running in behind and his link-up play and his little bit of quality in the final area, got that goal disallowed. His first attempt around half an hour mark. But he won for me, was outstanding.
He was the best player on the pot by a distance.
Who else was?
Adam Wharton showed us what he can do, Rob. Lovely, graceful vision.
Two assists, wasn't it?
2 assists that he does. I thought Strand Larson led the line particularly well, joined in with the teammates, make good runs. I thought that looked kind of progressive. I think the disappointment, and I said on air, for Crystal Palace is, come the summer, they're going to lose a very, very good manager. Who actually Tottenham Hotspur could do with somebody of that calibre.
Really good, yeah. Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, Palace have done well recruiting managers and players.
Yeah, they've got good, Steve Parish knows what he's doing.
Yeah, Dougie Freedman's not there anymore, which is a shame because he's done brilliant work, Freedman, in terms of recruiting. So, but no, well done, Crystal Palace. They've had a difficult period.
Actually, Thomas Frank's name has been linked to Crystal Palace recently, so maybe the ex-Tottenham man. It's kind of his fit, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of.
Feels a better fit to him. Let's go to Newcastle United, mate. Let's go to Fulham West Ham. Sorry, staying with the relegation games. Let's go to Craven Cottage, where West Ham got a 1-0 win. If I was asking you, who do you think scored? Somerville. I mean, the man of the moment for West Ham, who's proving to be a real star amongst a team that Nuno's got them going. I just have a sneaky feel for West Ham. How Nuno works, that they look like there's goals in this team, Rob. They look like they know what they're doing. I kind of feel like Nuno's got the thing going. He's got a bit of trust in the players.
Yeah, I mean, I think that with a couple of other teams down there as well. I think Nottingham Forest, I think Vitor Pereira is the ideal man to give them a little bit of a boost. I think with Tottenham losing that game, it's super tight. And West Ham United, I think if you asked me a couple of weeks ago, I'd be saying, well, there's a gap there. That's still a considerable gap. Yeah. But because none of them have won, they've closed it up with that result. I mean, that's exactly what they needed, and not an easy place to go to Fulham. Fulham so many times, Rob, have proved us wrong a little bit, where they can go to Fulham, they can go and win that game, but they haven't. But that's a massive result for them. Nuno has definitely improved them in January. He's definitely took a little bit of time to find his best kind of combinations and stuff. But you're right, Somerville, Castellanos has made an impact at the club as well. Pablo, I think, is injured still, is he, at the moment? I know he was out a little bit. So there is some talent there going forward. Callum Wilson's course is still in and around it. And it's anybody's call now. It's anybody's call. But this midweek fixture's enough made it tight. And I think all we can do as analysts is because it's so tight on paper, is just think, who looks like they're really struggling? Who looks like it's hardest to get a result? And it's one team. We just talked about them.
It's blaringly obvious right now. And they're the one team who might feel they're too good to go down, or, these three worst teams than them. They're not too good to go down, and they're the worst team in the league right now on form.
I mean, I don't want to go back to them, but it's like, it's unthinkable.
It is unthinkable.
We've been to their training ground.
This is along the lines of Leicester City winning a Premier League. Tottenham Hotspur getting relegated. Last year they finished 17th, but we all knew it was about the Europa League.
They won the Europa League last year.
And winning.
I mean, they might win. They could win the Champions League
and get relegated,
be
in the
championship next year.
Has that ever been done?
I don't know.
And Arsenal would win the title. That would
the worst.
Be it.
That'd be the biggest Spursy season ever. Imagine that. Oh dear me, crikey. All right, so they did really, really well. West Ham United, full marks to them. What else we got in the relegation? Leeds United lost at home. Leeds aren't out of it.
Yeah,
Leeds are not.
Leeds need two results. Two results to keep them clear.
Out of 9 games.
Yeah.
Should be able to do it. Well, the others might need 3. The others need 3 results, really. If you get around 36, 37 points, you should be...
Yeah, you should be good. But although I think you said this time of year, every now and then, people put a little run together.
It's that
craziness that comes out, desperation. And by the way, I've just got to...
What?
Ragey, slubbery.
my
40 points, mate. I couldn't love 40 points anymore with a team.
I know.
That have come up, that struggled to get the playoffs, that, everybody talked about, well, they'll be down. I mean,
I thought they'd be down.
Incredible.
I mean, it's so hard to predict a team that buys a whole new bunch of players that, I mean, we don't know every player.
He's a smart guy, and they've got smart recruitment.
He's a smart coach.
Yeah,
I think he's a really smart coach. God,
So
it makes all the difference if you have a system or data or smart people to recruit and bring in players.
Yeah, it gives you a chance.
I mean, it's incredible what they've done. They're 40 points. They're going to be playing in the Premier League next year. Yeah. We're going to have Newcastle, Sunderland, and my old Middlesbrough, mate. They're on the brink. They're kind of close. I know, but that'd be fun to have the three big North East teams in the Premier League. That'd be good.
Let's get to the top 4 race.
Go on then.
Let's get to Chelsea, my friend, who went to Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Went 1-0 down, and it was like, okay, Liam. Well, his team came good, and we talked about the game before, and João Pedro, and I remember saying to you that I think he's 20 goal scorer if he can stay top of the pitch and play in that role.
I think he is.
I'll tell you what, mate, he looks apart, doesn't he?
It goes back to what they've done, buying all these young players, Rob. There's going to be plenty of duds and players that aren't going to be good enough for the first team, and there's going to be a few superstars. Yeah. And there's becoming more superstars now, isn't there? When you think of, I'm not saying it's a superstar, but Cucurella's done really well. Malo Gusto's looks like he's a really good Premier League player. Apart from Esteval, there's going to be a star. Cole Palmer's a star. João Pedro now is in the star bracket and a regular goal scorer. Enzo Fernandez is a world winner, world class player. Yeah. So, and Garnacho played well. This is what Rosenior needed. This is what he's been trying to say. I think when we cut out the mistakes and we're strong in both boxes, our in between the boxes football's been really good, and it has. Yeah. And he's very smart at that. Yeah. We shouldn't underestimate that. Yeah. And this was a day where they turned the possession into penetration and quality and goals.
It was one of those days he had James, didn't he, as a central two with Caicedo. He had Gusto from the right side.
He did.
It came in and like you say, he mixes it up a little bit, so you never
know.
Sure,
when we do the lineups,
you're never quite sure how he's going to do it.
And which has got to be good, isn't it, if you're an opponent.
Absolutely.
Like we see all their games, and before we do a Chelsea game, I go back and look at how they did it. Yeah. But it does not mean it's going to be the same thing the next day. Different people,
different players.
Yeah.
Bit disappointment for Villa and Unai Emery coming off a couple of the loss to Wolves and then the defeat.
Body blow. That I think it's a body blow. Yeah. That is
well beaten. 51 points, aren't they?
They now? Might. Yeah.
Fourth. Is there a fear? Is there a fear, Rob, in the next couple of weeks they sort of drop out?
Yeah, there will be a fear, but they've still got 3 points gap over Liverpool. Yeah. Liverpool aren't, of course, we'll get to in a second, but like they can still do it. Yeah. When you look at the league table, it's like there's nothing in all these numbers on that sheet of paper, and you're like, well, they're in a good spot. They're fourth place, Robbie, going into 30th match. That's really good. There, but just the confidence level, the where they're at.
Players
European
they're missing
games,
actually as well. It's
quite big, isn't it?
The McGinn, the Kamaras, and
Tielemans, Yuri Tielemans, the three-star.
Three big players they miss.
That's a real engine room for them. Yeah. So body blow for Aston Villa, but they're still there. They're in fourth place right now.
And great win for Chelsea on the road. Let's go to the Toon, mate, where one of the most exhilarating finishes I think we've seen for some time. What a game this kind of turned out to just before half-time. We get to Newcastle. Jacob Ramsey getting sent off for simulation, off the yellow. Really harsh decision. I didn't see it. There wasn't an awful lot of contact, but he gets something. He goes down. I didn't think it was a dive.
So many that don't get given for those for simulation.
Never quite sure what that was. Then Gordon gets the penalty kick. Bruno contact. Yeah. Anthony Gordon, which was a penalty. Yeah, it was. Anthony Gordon scores the goal. Yeah. Then at the other end, Casemiro gets a header from a Bruno assist. And all of a sudden, United are back into it at 1-1. We get to the break.
I mean, with an extra man.
With an extra man. And we're thinking, United probably now kick on. This is where, Michael Carrick gets, was it 7 wins? It would be 7 wins and 1 draw. And, well, you can never rule out the Toon army. You can never rule out the Geordies. You can never rule out that, when that place is got something about
to be up for it. Yeah,
and they were up for it, weren't they? And the team did well, stayed in the game. And then Will Osula, who's, one of those players who doesn't get many minutes. We sometimes question, has he got the quality? Yeah. What a finish that was.
What a moment. I mean, that would be a top 10 moment in the Premier League. I mean, it just
incredible
was a moment.
Against Manchester United.
The angle that it was. Yeah. We
players
saw
were there. The
beautifully from that
goalkeepers in
angle.
great form.
Yep, and 10 men against Manchester United who are in brilliant form. It's an incredible strike from Willisula. A real big performance for Eddie Howe.
Yeah,
like Eddie Howe's
he needed
just
it,
starting.
didn't he?
Yeah,
He
like
needed
is
it.
this
I think
message?
they were 13th in the Premier League before the game kicked off.
And he admitted
Yeah.
before this game, like it's really hard to fight on both when you're in the Champions League and to be consistent in the Premier League, because I think we can all agree now, Rob, that maybe not the top clubs, but there's a lot of good teams in the Premier League now. The midsection's really, really good. With the extra money and revenues that they get in England, they can go and buy players from Milan or Juventus. And
well, it tells you in the Champions League, we see players now, don't we, who used to be at lower clubs in the Premier League are playing Champions League football in other countries.
So it's really difficult, and they've been struggling in Newcastle United, but that's such a win. And I think Man United, Rob, I mean, Carrick was honest enough.
I thought it was good.
Just didn't have a good day.
Well.
Just our quality.
Yeah.
We just didn't connect things together, and that can happen. And he's earned
absolutely
a leeway.
Yeah.
You know, we ain't going to win every game.
And I think it's important to see, what's Michael Carrick after a little bit difficult period, because that's going to happen as well if he ends up getting the job. I think one of the strengths of him looks a lot like as a manager that was as a player, Rob. He didn't get too overexcited with wins, and he didn't be too disappointed with defeats. I thought he did a really good thing when I think the interviewer asked, like, well, didn't quite have the spirit or something like that, and he shut that down. There's nothing about spirit. We didn't have the quality. We didn't play well enough, and I thought it was really good and important that he's not using the big cliches and hiding behind those things. His team didn't play well enough, and that's fine as well, because that happens.
Yeah, and now we'll see if there's a reaction, and the team hopefully will take that on board and realise it isn't going to be plain sailing. Maybe they just started to think,
believe in it.
We can show up and win a little bit. With the extra man there, they maybe just were a little bit casual, but no. So really good day for Newcastle United. A little bit of a setback for Manchester United, but they're still the third place in the Premier League, Rob. The third place in the Premier League, Man United, and given what they've gone through, that's still where we are right now. A really good spot to be at.
Tell me how Wolverhampton Wanderers beat Aston Villa, who I think within top four, and beat Liverpool Football Club 2-1. I mean, tell me a team who couldn't win 2 wins in 5 days. Spurs haven't had a win in the calendar year.
Yeah, I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know how they're scoring the goals, Wolves, because their forwards have been stripped away from them over the period of the last year or so. We love the two midfield players, the Brazilian twins almost, Andre and João Gomez. Andre scored the winning goal against Liverpool. But no, Rob Edwards, to be fair, mate. I mean, and it was, it's like a decision like, wow, you've left Middlesbrough that looked like they could get promoted to go to Wolverhampton Wanderers. And I know he was a player there, and I think he was a coach for a little bit as well. And he's made an impact, which I'm like, well done. That's not an easy thing to do. No. The amount of time and the way the team were, and they're like embarrassing.
It was embarrassing. You're right.
How's he done it? He's done really well.
He's obviously a good coach, Rob. And what I said on the Today Show, which is the difference between Tudor, is you can see what he's worked on. Without the ball, they get back. They've got a good structure about them, and then hard to play against. And when they got the ball, they tend to play counter-attack and try and get a few of those midfield players up, around the forwards, because that's how they are. But at least these are tactic. At least you can see something that's going on and feel like, if I'm a Wolverhampton Wanderers fan, I kind of feel like, okay, we're probably going to go down, but looking forward to coming back in the Championship and coming back refreshed.
It's really hard to keep the energy high and excited, the fans excited for a Championship campaign. Yeah, that's what's going to be. But if they can keep this going somewhat, I'm sure they're not going to win every game. I mean, that'll be the escape of all escapes.
Hold on a moment, because
there's 12 points from safety.
12 points from safety.
Yeah, 28. They're on 16.
I did a little note to myself.
You're trying to do the math to make it work.
I was trying to do the math to see if there's a possibility that Wolverhampton Wanderers, and here you go, Mr. Mustoe, just for your help.
Don't even bother with
it. They've got 9 games to go. Believe in dreams. Believe in miracles. They've got Brentford.
Yeah, they can win that.
They've got West Ham.
Can win that.
They've got Leeds.
Yeah, they can win that.
They've got Spurs.
They can win that.
They've got Sunderland. They've got Brighton. They got Fulham, and they got Burnley. Kind of winnable.
I'm
kind of just saying. let's dream for a moment. For 9 games, let Rob Edwards and the
If he keeps Wolves up, I'm
manager
done.
I'm
finished.
What, you're dropping the mic and walking out?
Yeah,
end of the 2 Robbies?
Yeah, end everything.
I mean, I'll go and get Rob Edwards. Another Robbie. Incredible stuff. I mean, listen, it ain't going to happen, unfortunately, but...
You never know.
You never know, mate.
It'll be remarkable.
Win against Brentford, win against West Ham, and I'm all over it, Rob.
I'll tell you what's happening in Liverpool. What's not happening with Liverpool, Rob? 6th place right now, flat as a pancake.
Yeah. I was particularly disappointed in their approach, Rob. Didn't seem like it was an important
They're
game.
not excited. They're not excited right now.
They weren't up for it. Mo Salah continues to have a struggle. Thought he was lucky to stay on the pitch. I know he ends up getting the goal, but he could easily have come off for the way he played. Yeah. I didn't think, Virgil van Dijk came on after, and I thought was quite strong. I didn't think he didn't look at it, Rob, as the captain of a club who's desperately trying to get it to the Champions League, and we know how great he's been, we know what he's won, we know what potential he has, but it just didn't feel like great for me.
Okay, what do we know is to be true is that the 2 big money guys are not there. Alexander Isak and Florian Wirtz. Well, all the money was spent and not available right now. Mm-hmm. All that being said, you'd still expect something more. If I see a Liverpool team doesn't play well, then that can happen. But when they don't play well, and there seems to be very little drive or effort to play well, it's a concern.
That's a concern.
And
that comes down to the manager.
Of course, comes down to the manager, and we all really appreciate what he did last year. He tweaked it a little bit. He changed it a little bit. They very carefully managed the title there.
He's a good manager.
I'm surprised.
He allows that.
Well, of what we're seeing.
Yeah, I don't know, and I don't know. It was just a difficult one. I was just really disappointed.
They won. What was the last game, Rob? I thought they were awful. They won 5-2, didn't they?
Yeah, against West Ham.
I remember saying on the show, they didn't play well.
Yeah.
That was not. They got the 3 set pieces.
Yeah, the goals. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if he finishes 6th place, and right now, again, eye test because the numbers are real close on the sheet of paper. They look like the ones, assuming that Villa could totally collapse. Yeah. They look like the ones that might miss out and finish 6th. If they finish 6th, Rob, and that's a big if right now, will his job be under threat? Will they think this is not really acceptable, or give him another go?
I think he'd still be the Liverpool manager, but I think he'd have to, things would have to pick up into the next season. I don't think, based off what he's done and Europa League football, let's say it is, that they would sack him. But Champions League football is important to Liverpool Football Club.
I know, it'd be a blow. I mean, I always think with someone like this is that when there's new players that have come in, and I know he had a little bit of this, but you want him to have the full access to those new players in the squad and see what he can do. Yeah. So that might be another reason why
he's out back fit, hopefully,
with a pre-season, full pre-season. Wirtz starting to look the part.
In a year,
there'll be some deals done. I don't know whether Mo Salah will stay there. I mean, Mo Salah's his body language and his general game quality.
It just looks like he's lost a little bit of confidence, which is the weirdest thing you'd ever say about Mo
desire
Salah.
to achieve.
Possibly.
Fallen out with the manager.
Since he's come back from AFCON, it hasn't quite looked right.
Well, the words that were said and the managers, throw me under the bus and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so that's a concern.
Yeah.
We want to see more from them over the next few games.
Let's go to the other results. I'm going to give my good old friend David Moyes some love. Everton 2, Burnley 0. Tarkowski with the header. Dewsbury Hall with a beautiful finish. David Moyes just continues to do David Moyes thing. They sit 8th in the Premier League, Everton. Don't rule them out of European football, as he did with West Ham.
Yeah.
A proper manager, mate, who knows what he's doing.
Well, it's so funny, mate. We should be studying David Moyes and what he does, because I'm guaranteeing, and you'd probably back me up, there's nothing special going on tactically. He's very simple on his formations. I think he's great at man management, and I think he's great at pushing the players all the time. Big Tim Howard talks about it. Yeah. I think he's grumpy old bugger. He'll push them. He'll push them. He'll force them to look up. Yeah. And when we first came in, he said, "I don't want Everton. We're not.
We want European football." That's what
I remember thinking, "Wow, that's got to be a long way away, David Moyes, because they look so bad and they're hanging on with Sean Dyche." And all of a sudden, they're there. And he said it. He said, I'm surprised, but I'm going to keep pushing them. They're right there. 7th place is going to be European
Jack
football.
Grealish hasn't played for, 6 weeks or something now. One of the best players has been out.
And the strikers we've talked about and said they're not up to it.
Better and Barry.
I don't know how he does it.
Yeah, Dewsbury Hall's been a good signing.
Really good.
Good signing.
And then Jai's Illiman Jai's really good.
Proper footballer. McNeil's come back and looking like a player.
James Garner looks $1 million.
Yeah, they're good players.
Playing really well. They've got some good defenders back there and an excellent goalkeeper. So maybe we shouldn't be so surprised.
Yeah.
But a lot of these guys were there before and it wasn't going so well. So David Moyes. Absolute brilliant.
So Everton 2, Burnley 0, and Bournemouth ended up in 0-0 with Brentford. I think the biggest shock in that one was Jordan Henderson fighting with some of the Bournemouth staff.
I mean, he's meant to be the composed
calming
one,
guy
who he was proper fired up. I've never seen him so angry.
Yeah, I don't know what was said. Something definitely seemed to be said there. But
I see Keith Andrews' comments afterwards, after what the last game, they conceded a ton of goals.
Yeah.
He was quite happy with the reaction and shutting things down. And 0-0 for Brentford's not bad. They sit in 7th, Rob. They sit in a European spot right now.
Listen, mate, I've had enough for you for the midweek. It was a dramatic midweek of games where we saw Arsenal get a 7-point lead at the top of this table, despite upsetting Fabian Hürzeler. Wolves beat reigning champions Liverpool, 10-man Newcastle and United's run under Michael Carrick. And Tottenham, they're just not too good to go down. We'll be back on Sunday, March the 15th to recap match week 30 when Liverpool host Spurs in a massive game at Anfield. But for now, I'm Earle, he's Mustoe, together with the two Robbies. Thanks for watching and listening. Stay safe, stay healthy. It's a good night from me.
And it's good night from him.
Good night.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host of NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And for even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock.